definition of sustainability from the dictionary is the ability to be maintained at a certain rate or level and avoidance of depletion of natural resources in order to maintain an ecological balance. And that is typically what I thought of when I heard Costa Rica. Before going into my 9-day tour of Costa Rica with EF, I just knew that Costa Rica was located in Central America with a red, white, and blue flag, and the people were commonly known as Ticos, and they spoke Spanish. And overall, I knew they were doing something good and sustainable for the planet. After meeting a few of the 5 million people, like some of the local guides, our bus driver Henry, and our amazing tour director Eduardo, I learned that sustainability is more than just about the environment.
Sustainability is actually quite important for us, not just in terms of nature conservation, but also supporting the communities. One of the most important things that our government has done through what we call the Sustainable Certification Program is to help the communities by perhaps the hotels. They will purchase all of the food from local farmers. They will try to hire locals. So instead of bringing people from other regions of the country, they're going to try to hire most of the locals so they can support the community in that particular way.
As a whole, Costa Rica is making efforts, big and small, to be sustainable and do what they can for the planet. And personally, the small ones are my favorite. And some of them were about water, reminding you that it is a limited resource, whether it was, hey, make sure you turn off the water, or actually giving you an example of how much water you use while showering. At our first hotel, I noticed there was a sticker on our toilet, and it said it was a water-saving toilet, and I thought that was pretty neat. And I then noticed that this was a common theme we saw throughout the country. And the bathroom wasn't the only place we saw the conservation theme. We saw similar signs to the water ones that just would say, hey, remember to turn off the light switch. We also saw that in hotels, the fridge and the lamps were unplugged until you needed them. And this is due to the concept of phantom appliances. So those appliances would be drawing electricity if they're plugged in. So in the short term, hotels are saving electricity, but all these places do it, and in a long time, it all adds up to be a big difference. In the whole country was reusing. I saw minimal plastic bags like these in the whole country. You either had to bring your own bag, buy a bag at the store, or go without them. In many of the souvenir shops, we got paper bags, which we all know break down much easier than their plastic counterparts. All the stores we visited sold single-use plastic water bottles. But why would I buy those when all the hotels we stayed at conveniently had access to water bottle filling stations? And this made it so easy when we visited a national park where we weren't even allowed to bring single-use plastics in. And restaurants we ate our meals at used reusable silverware, and they commonly came in metal bags like this, and this kept them from avoiding to have to use single-use silverware. Many hotels also provided shampoo, soap, and conditioner in bulk containers like this, instead of giving out little bottles like these that sometimes aren't even enough for one use. My favorite sustainable thing about Costa Rica is the recycling stations and green spaces. For where I live in a small rural area in Michigan, recycling isn't very easy for us. We have no curbside options, and if we do choose to recycle, you have to collect it and hold it until you're able to bring it out, which is about a 10-15 minute drive to a recycling center. And for my family, who is very busy, it's just hard to do and unrealistic for us. But all the recycling in Costa Rica is so convenient. It's available at almost every hotel and even just walking along the street. It was all easily labeled and easy to understand. I also loved the green spaces that hotels provided. These green spaces consisted of maybe just a basic walkway, and they provided habitat with their beautiful plants and flowers. From one hotel we stayed at, we were able to see iguanas right from our pool. And a short walk, we were able to see some macaws. And while we were walking, I noticed there were signs reminding guests to keep these clean so that they're good to use for other people. I noticed in one hotel that was run by a local family, there were some chickens on the property, and I later learned that when we were done with meals, we put our fruit scraps into a bucket and they fed those to chickens to prevent food waste, which I found was really neat. Some of the few things that on just a small scale, citizens and smaller businesses are doing. Costa Rica as a whole, with the government and large-scale businesses, are doing even more. Did you know that 99% of the energy in Costa Rica is renewable sources like solar, geothermal, hydroelectric, and wind? We had a chance to see one of these hydroelectric dams in action when we kayaked on the man-made lake of Lake Arnell. Along with all this renewable energy, Costa Rica is set to become the first country that is carbon neutral. Big into conservation and preservation. Costa Rica currently has 30 national parks and countless other reserves that are run by the government, nonprofits, and private organizations. On our tour, we visited just a fraction of these lands, like Manuel Antonio National Park, Santa Elena Cloud Forest Reserve, Arnell Volcano National Park, and La Fortuna Waterfall. The conservation and preservation of land, Costa Rica does not allow hunting, and they encourage visitors like us to not use flash photography as it disrupts animals' habitats, and we were able to see how light affects a stick bug on our night walk. All of this and more has led Costa Rica to earning the Champions of the Earth Award from the United Nations, which is awarded to countries making efforts to be sustainable. How is Costa Rica able to do all this? This is because of ecotourism. Ecotourism is tourism directed toward exotic, often threatened natural environments intended to support conservation efforts and observe wildlife. On this trip, my group was considered ecotourists when we ziplined, kayaked, our many tours, food workshops, folklore evenings, and other things like shopping. In conclusion, Costa Rica is doing a lot to be sustainable, and us as citizens and as a country should follow in the same. And how can we do that? Well, we all should do the little things, like using reusable water bottles, minding our water and light usage, using reusable bags, and supporting the people who make things happen. So as a country, we can invest more in renewable energy resources, preserve more land, and promote the little things. I cannot wait to use my passport to see more of the world through my own eyes. And this EF trip has sparked the travel bug in me. Pura vida!